Welcome back, guys, to the basket on the V3. Today I'm gonna talk about the game between Lithuania and Venezuela in the Olympic qualifying tournament in Kaunas. And the game ended in 76-65 to the Lithuania. And this game was up and down, up and down. Like the first quarter was terrible. I would say for Lithuania, for Venezuela, even though you lost the first quarter, you could have even got. It could have ended better, worse for you. You lost by 1 point to Lithuania, who's very high in FIBA World rating. So I would say that was a decent, but every other quarter Lithuania won, and the fourth quarter it was tied. And I would say the main problem was that for Venezuelans, they lacked aggressiveness. They always cut into the ball, cut it to the basket, then threw the ball out, and just didn't have the right shots, I would say. So I would say that's the main problem between was for the Venezuelans. And I would say Lithuanians played well, I would say, for the whole game, but it wasn't like what I hoped for from them, and especially because we have the hopes for making to Olympics, and if you play like that, I don't think you could make, because at some points the game was very stagnant for Lithuanian part, especially when there was Valančiūnas and Kalnietis. The game became almost those two. If there was Gedraitis, I would say, then it was some freeze, but at that point it was very stagnant at some points game. But if when the second unit came out with Sabonis, the game changed. It moved a bit quicker. You could see the pace move up from Lithuanian spot, and I would say that was good, but they couldn't hold the ball well, and every time they went to the attack, it was always like you could hope. You thought, okay, I think we're gonna lose the ball, because in turnover wise, it was 15. 15 turnovers. That's a lot of turnovers for the squad. And I would say, even when we was playing friendly games, we were losing ball a lot of times. And yeah, that's the thing about playing fast when the team isn't right. Haven't played right the whole time. Played a lot of time. And the second point, I would say, pick and roll defense. And as well as at some points they scored a lot of points on Lithuania in that regard, when it was Valančiūnas, I think, on the floor. When Sabonis was, it was a bit less pick and roll, but Lithuania was skilled on that play, and they played sometimes well against that. But still, I wanted more aggressiveness from Valančiūnas to step up or something, and especially bad. The thing I think Lithuania needs to fix until they play Slovenia in probably finals, I hope so, is off-ball movement, especially when the center or big has a ball in the post and just stagnant. They just sit there and wait for the ball to come to them and just shoot a free. But it's tragic, like when you make 29% of your frees. 29! That's very low percentage, and I would say that's the biggest reason the game was so close. Like, Lithuania got some good chances to make some frees, but couldn't make those frees. And I would say that was the main reason. Like, if Lithuania shot at least like something 40%, I would say, so that's at least a few more frees, and the game is like plus almost in the 20s. So I would say that's a win. But Venezuela made a lot of difficult frees, and that was the main reason. And refereeing was, I don't want to bash a lot of referees, but the refereeing was a bit questionable at times. There's a lot of no calls. There's a few times there was one unsportsmanlike foul on Venezuelan. That should have not been a unsportsmanlike, but you, you see, but the refs made their decision. I'm not bashing them, and the main reason Venezuela lost because there was only one player playing. He had 11 points, nobody else. Like one more player had 9 points. That's it. Everyone else didn't had gone into double digit. And the Lithuanian part, there were 4 players who scored in double digits, but out of them, if you just detract them, it was 4 players too who scored. So it was only 8 players who scored out of 12, I think, who played. So that's not a lot of. That was bad. If he doesn't score the ball, and I would say that was the main reason it was that close. Of course, there was a lot of fouling. I would say Venezuela fouled a lot of. I think in the first quarter and the second, in the first half, they fouled very fast. Yeah, that was the problem. And points in the paint, like Lithuania dominated. And if we want to qualify for the Olympics, we need to make those shots in the paint. And I would say 16 points difference in the paint. Yeah, that's pretty much the difference. I would say. Defensive rebounds, Lithuania won, but not by a margin, a lot by 7, but of course that's a lot. And yeah, everything else just like, yeah, the bench didn't produce, at least in Venezuelan points, they just produced a lot of guys produced points, but yeah, I don't think that was good enough for Lithuania, and I would say that was the main reason. Freeze and second chance points, it says not that much, and Venezuela even won. So I would say that's the main reason. Hold the ball, keep the ball, just tighten up your ball movement, make less turnovers, make some frees, and I think with that, if you fix those things, you could possibly win this tournament. I would say one team is only Slovenia, who has the chance with Doncic. So that's only the one chances you could see. It could happen that Slovenia, if Lithuania doesn't tighten up their ball movement and doesn't make their frees. Those are the 2 main reasons that this game was close even. And I would say at the end it was like close, but not close. And there was a lot of difficulties for Lithuania team. I would say hands down to Venezuela. They will play Korea in Wednesday for the second spot in the score. I would say so. So we will see what's gonna happen there.